Alright, so we're checking out superpeens, and I'm honestly hoping that this is going to be one of the better videos to check out, because superpeens is somewhere in Masters, I believe. Yeah, okay. So, and I believe he's peaked GM as well, and so this is going to be one of the better videos to check out, because sometimes, when you're watching professional players, when you're watching a Seagull, a Surefour, things like that, they'll have like bad positioning and stuff, but their skill level will allow them to be just fine. And so I'm kind of excited to check this one out and see what's going on. I clicked this one because it had D.VA in the thumbnail, and I'm sure that his D.Va is gonna be great here.
Did you see the SR of the team?
I might dodge.
Do it.
Why? No.
Fuck no. No, hell no. I just was making fun of you because I know you're not. No. Please stick out here too. Yeah, I bet you they look, dude. I want my thing. I tried to. Nothing. I tried to say something in Chinese, but obviously he didn't. It didn't come out correctly.
Okay, that was clean right there. So I have my volume way down, so you guys probably couldn't hear the Sombra, but that was very clean. No one even called that out. He must have just heard the Sombra and flipped right around, and that was great because that Zen pick would have delayed his team by 10 plus seconds. This is why it's good as D.Va to be peeling for your healers always. It's so easy.
Okay. I can do it.
So right there, I'm going to question that use of defense matrix already. We were kind of letting it get back up, to prepare for our dive with our Winston, and right here in the next like 1-2 seconds we use defense matrix on nothing. There's no shots back here, and our defense matrix doesn't do anything against the wrecking ball, so it's kind of just a wasted defense matrix, which will be important when him and the Winston presumably dive up or back.
Okay.
So we used almost a fourth of it right there for
I
nothing.
can do it. I really did not expect that to be that work.
And honestly, same with the flight. I don't know why we used flight there, because now we can't go with our Winston right away. We weren't realistically going to kill the ball. We saw our team comp. There's no sort of stuns or anything on it, so that's a little bit iffy on both of the cooldowns.
Really well.
And the missiles. I didn't even see that. So now we're diving in with no missiles. Defense matrix. While we dive, we let it get back up before diving, but while we dived in, we defense matrix nothing at all. So that's weird. So no missiles now, which is our burst damage if we were diving a Zen up top or something here. Defense matrix nothing. And that's, just weird, because if there was something up there that we needed to defense matrix, then we've kind of wasted it. And we need to make sure that we're cycling with our Winston here to get the most effective dives possible, and we're not going to be able to cycle properly if when the Winston bubble goes down, we already have half defense matrix or something like that. I get the fall off there. There was no one up top, no one to go for. Burst down the brig, it's clean. There, I don't know what we're defense matrix again, though. We turn around here, and I don't know. Maybe it was just because our Zen was going down, but he was already dead by the time we turned around. I don't know exactly. Sombra's a good choice, because, yeah, force your translocator very easily. But again, right here, defense matrixing, literally just random D.Va spam. There's no point of this defense matrix right here. So now our defense matrix is, again, just running low if there is something we need to defense matrix, like the Ana nade back here or something. For those of you that can't see Ana, right there. And, we're eating just, random D.Va spam here, so that doesn't really help us at all. Usually I'd mention the mirror match, but that's about all he can take right here. There's no one else on point yet, and presumably his team would call out if someone was coming on the side or on the top.
Sombra one.
It's good. Force the Sombra out. He can tell his mech is getting low, and while you're shooting the Sombra, you're still standing in the way open here, really. you move just a little bit over here, but it's still mostly in the open. That's how the D.Va can shoot you uncontested, the Wrecking Ball can shoot you uncontested. I would have liked to see you, after you force the Sombra out, just to sit behind the payload at least, because at least on some of the D.Va bullets, it's minor. It's very minor, but, you know, proving the minor things helps us climb.
Sombra
like,
one, Sombra one.
Right here, there's no point in us standing here anymore, and he was kind of rotating to where I wanted, so that's really good. It was a nice kill. Good tracking.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, man.
And again, like right here, why are we standing on top of the payload, which is just more risky than we need? Like, when we could just be standing behind the payload, at least have some sort of little cover, go into that doorway. But like here, it's like asking to get headshot, or the Zen that's coming over here, like, and you know, like there'll probably be an anti-nade or a sleep coming for the monkey that could hit you. It just doesn't totally make sense.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm on point. Oh no, if I live.
It wouldn't really have mattered if he lived there. Like, he wasn't going to solo win that fight. You see all the team that's dead right there. But there is ways that he could have stayed alive more, especially as Baby D.Va, if he cared about remeching. He already had his ult and stuff, though. So, you know, it can go either way. Again, I mean, it doesn't really matter because you're not going to dive in right here. But, like, what are we defense matrixing there?
I'll try to throw.
Some of these like dumb defense matrices, I would be pointing out either way, but I'm especially pointing them out because we're about to go to a 2-second cooldown. And so if you defense matrix nothing, just randomly, well then the Ana can see that as an easy time to throw in her nade, or the Zarya can see that as an easy time to grab. And so it's like, these little defense matrices may not be punishing you now, but it's a bad habit that you got to kick before we get that change. And just really, it just doesn't help.
Babysitting you since I forgot about you.
Weird ult here, because this is going to go one of two ways. Your team is either going to lose because you've lost a healer and your enemy team has ults coming in. You guys are probably going to get EMP'd here, and you're not going to have a trans to save you. And so in my opinion, you've lost this fight already. But depending on how you look at it, your team has probably won this fight picks-wise. So why are we ulting to destroy mines that aren't even blocking anything? We don't have any teammates back here that need to push up. All of our teammates have actually dived up here without us. So I don't totally understand why ult here either way. I think that this fight could go either way. Picks-wise, his team has won. Ult-wise, his team has lost this fight. So either way, his ult doesn't make any sense.
Sorry, buddy.
And now I definitely think his team's going to lose. There's another pick. No, he's winning. Bomb. There's the EMP. Yeah. So, I mean, unless he was going to get the Wrecking Ball, the Sombra, and the D.Va with his ult, it's not like his ult was going to get much more value that fight, but at least he would have it this next fight. There was no point to break those mines because they weren't blocking anyone. And it's super tempting. Like on like Winston, you'll see like Grandmaster Winstons shocking the mines when they're not blocking anyone, and it's ridiculous. It's like you're wasting your time, and literally their ult that was useless now has value because you've wasted your time to fight their ult. It's like when a Bob is like behind a corner and people try and fight it. I just don't get it. Yeah, and your team should know that you don't have mech yet, and they shouldn't be pushing quite yet. That was close. This is good here, though. Thinking about what ults they still have left, they used their nano, they used bomb, Hammond. So I think that we're pretty much safe from ults here. There you go.
Sombra. D.Va. Sombra.
Yeah, it's cool. Like, I like your Winston. Your Winston's complimenting you really well here. You're fine to say D.Va. You're fine to say Sombra. D.Va people probably generally know where they are because big target on the point. But Sombra, no one knows where the hell the Sombra is. If you're calling Sombra and she's behind a wall where half your team can't even see him, you got to make little calls like that. Just little adjustments to your calls, and it'll really help you climb. Or at least really help you communicate, I should say.
Sombra. Hammond. Zen.
Switched calls kind of fast. The Sombra hadn't died yet. And again, just kind of a weird alt. Like, if you realized that the Zen was going to win the fight here, you could have probably boosted out instead of boosted to him, or held your defense matrix longer. There's just a couple little things right there. But going for that Zen and bursting your cooldowns right away, especially when you don't have your micros, it can be really hard to burst down a Zen. And you know you don't have them because you just used them on Sombra, which made us waste our ult again. And I get that you needed to remech, that's why you ulted. I totally get that, but it's just unfortunate that it had to go that way. Ideally, in a perfect game of D.Va, we wouldn't use our ult to remech even once.
Hammond on point. Dude, I say that Mercy's goddamn life.
It's good. And I mean, one of the things that you've done very well, you kind of just mentioned it, is you have peeled for your healers super well.
Oh, I thought you jumped through her and killed her somehow. Hell yeah. I was looking for that fist, though. Hey, that Sombra's basically just like... They're just eating our... Sombra's basically just like... They're just eating our...
So what? They've got High Noon here, Bomb here, EMP here. So I'd be calling to your team that you're probably going to get EMP bombed again, especially because I don't see the Sombra mid.
Damn, dude, I have no clue. Hammond's half.
Didn't get bombed. That's the good news. But
with these Hammond bombs, should I like blow my bomb up though? Would that help at all? Should I clear him?
Right there, you should have known that you were going to get EMP'd. So no, you should not have blown your bomb up if that was your goal. If you weren't going to get EMP'd, it actually would have been pretty decent because that's a pretty good place for your enemies not to make it behind cover, and they don't have any sort of shield, and they're probably going to be pushing up because they know about the bombs. But because of the EMP, no, there's no reason you should have bombed there. Your team
McCree won.
got full EMP'd. You should lose that fight. And like right here, you should run away. Your team is losing really bad. There's like 3 of you alive. It doesn't have to be like a full runaway. Like it can definitely be a soft reset. That was kind of what you guys did, like a very soft reset. But I would also... Nice.
Oh, I tried to get it right in front of the doorway, dude. God damn it.
It was almost a really good bomb.
Made it through that shit. I'm on the Ana.
You're on the Ana, but no one can come with you right now, and you know that. If you're seeing what's going on to your backline. So you got to be a little bit careful with that.
McCree won.
Like right here, we defense matrixed while the McCree was reloading.
McCree won. Zen.
That was clean.
D.Va high ground.
That was good, and that's how it should go when you have your micro missiles, because they can, really eat them out.
I'm pretty sure they have it.
I love how you just rotated from one corner to the other. Obviously, like, you don't have that much life in your baby D.Va. I don't like that you remeched right there. A better McCree should have killed you.
Oh, I was gonna...
I haven't heard your team at all talk about your enemy's ults, and they have really out-ulted you guys. I feel like you guys have been winning, like, regular fights, like when you've been getting, like, full 6-on-6s and stuff like that. I mean, even, like, 5-on-5s, you guys have been winning and stuff. But you guys have been seriously out-ulted, and I think that's just because you guys aren't planning around it. And that was good. Defense matrix your Ryan as soon as he goes down. and make sure that you're ready to defense matrix again before he comes back up. That was good play right there.
Alright, I'll try to build it real quick. Oh shit, dude, I went way too deep.
I get it, because if your team didn't die, could have been a cool push, especially if you would have gotten the baby D.Va. So I totally get why that happened.
Is that possible?
Wasn't ideal, but I totally get why it happened.
The minute I hear that EMP, I'll send bomb. Alright.
So you're saying the minute I hear that EMP, I'll send the bomb, but then you weren't even in the right position to send the bomb. You should have been hugging this corner and then throwing it at an angle.
EMP, I'll send bomb.
And that is, I mean, so minor. That's just individual ways to throw your D.Va bomb. It's gonna obviously verify, but I definitely, even the way you threw it, you were not in the correct position to throw it. It was a nice stun by the Brig, so you couldn't defense matrix that. That was good play right there. So you guys have, yeah, tough.
Brig's low, Brig low.
I mean, you guys have definitely lost this fight, but it's the last fight, so it's not like you're going to be regrouping. Nothing really to comment on there, because it's a last-second stagger fight. Overall, some really good play, like some better than I would expect for your rank, but also some really bad play, like some worse than I'd expect for your rank. And so it's a little bit funny, but the nice part is it almost makes it easier for you to climb, because it means that you don't just have like micro things to adjust. You have a lot to adjust that can help you climb.
Oh, I'm pretty sure we're gonna die.
So
Okay.
one of the first and foremost is I would look at your defense matrix usage 100%. You have minor positioning things, definitely, like right at the end you weren't in position to throw your D.Va bomb. You haven't really been as behind cover or remeching exactly where I would like most of the time, or sometimes. But you've had some really good cover too, like when you were baby D.Va and you very cleanly rotated behind the two corners. That was good.
Good of a job. I have all golds right now, but that doesn't matter. I'm not trying to say. I'm just saying it should probably be silvers if I'm peeling correctly, but instead I'm going for damage. I would love to see you try. Please go to their spawn right now, and I will watch and see what happens. Go. You're not. Go. Go spawn kill them. All right. Well, I'm gonna push our Winston out in the open. Yeah, I got hit right there.
So
Yeah, I got hit.
right here, we defense matrix, nothing. And then has our Winston used our bubble? Or what are we defense matrixing? Are we communicating with our Winston? Is he going to drop our bubble as soon as we're done? It's just, you have no way to know if you're not talking to him. And it's going to make it really hard for you and your Winston to hold right here. I don't think I need to tell you that that was a hard feed. You had half defense matrix when you flew in, and your Winston didn't have his bubble up. But if we're not communicating with our Winston,
Genji won.
that is going to be one of the hardest places to hold, because if we're using our defense matrix when he's bubbling or vice versa, it's a hard throw.
Get off the high ground.
There's a lot of defense matrix to eat one nade, but you got out of there fine, so it worked out well.
I'm trying not to take poke till you get back.
So now you know your Ana's going back up top now. So are you... It's good that you said you're not going to try and take poke, but are you also thinking about, is she going to play... No, okay. Are you also thinking about, like, is she going to play in the back? Is she going to play by us? Is she going to drop back? Because that's also going to depend. Is she going to drop down, you know? And when she drops down, is she going to go to point? Because that's going to totally change how you play.
I ate that fucking nano.
I kind of felt like you ate it too. If you would have tracked it a little bit faster,
Should I
you would
dive
have
her?
made it.
Okay, I'm diving her.
Okay, so now you both dived her, which left your healers to die.
Should I dive her? Okay, I'm diving her.
And then you weren't in position to eat the barrage either. Unfortunate, because if you guys had stayed here, your healers could have stayed here, rotated back here, would have never gotten hit by the bomb. You could have eaten the barrage right there. Everything would have been solid. But instead we dived an Ana. So awesome that we got that kill. But now we used Nano to get that. Both of our healers died. And then we're going back on point, almost half health. No armor. And so it's very unfortunate how all that went out. And I understand why you guys felt the need to dive her, but that's going to be a communication thing. Like, if you would have known that your Winston was getting Nano, there's no reason you needed to come with, which would have meant that all this could have fallen in place, and you still could have gotten this on a kill. So you ulted when there was only two. There was four of you guys. I didn't get that one. Yeah, I mean, you were gonna get demacked. I don't know. That's. You had definitely won the fight, so I don't know. I get either way, and this is why I will always say, always try and remember that there is not a singular right way to play. There is many different ways to be successful at Overwatch. I play a very defensive style of Ana, for example, and people like ML7 play a very aggressive style of Ana. Like, there's very different ways to succeed, but I personally would have gotten demacked there.
Hey, Briggs top right with McCree. McCree anti.
And that's just going to be an example of when maybe you need to be thinking more about your Winston.
Hey, Briggs top right
because
with
when
McCree.
you
McCree
jumped
anti.
in here, you should have known that that Ana is going to sleep or anti or probably both. So now your monkey's asleep, so he's not exactly going to be able to help you. Luckily, I think the McCree woke him up right away. And then you get antied, so you can't push it. Again, that's going to be an example of something that was micro. But multiple micro things can help you rank up pretty easily. I think based on the time, this is a full hold, right? Maybe not. I don't know how far this broadcast goes past the game.
D.Va's half. D.Va's almost out of mech. D.Va 1.
I don't totally get what your Lucia did. I don't think anyone up top got that sound barrier. And over half your team was up top. That was good and fine, and I'm even hoping more so that your flight was to try and take you up in the air to throw that. And if so, that was 100% right. Exactly what I would have done.
Not a bad Lucio. Who killed Kitsune? Not joking.
This is probably my bad. I probably should have watched this first to make sure that it was a loss, because this like this defense, there's been almost nothing to mention because your team has been farming them. Offense had some good stuff because they were holding you guys pretty well. But this right here, good call, good call. Again, I would want to see you calling where the McCree was, but good call. So yeah, that can be on me. I should have watched it to make sure it was a loss. But that was a good game. You did play well. You did push some impressive numbers. And there was definitely some good stuff to look at on your offense.
I like look at what I'm doing and I'm like, if I had only gotten it like an inch farther next to that door, it would have been an easy triple.
You know, one of the easiest ways to improve your D.Va bombs? Never throw one that's not moving. So either one that's on a corner wall riding it, wall riding the floor, throwing up in the air, and right away your D.Va bombs will start to get better. I think you dropped 2 to 3 of them that were just in place for purpose of remeching or for purpose of whatever. But definitely work on that. And then definitely work on your defense matrix usage. I'm not going to watch another D.Va video of yours right now, but I would pretty much guarantee that you get punished for it in higher matches because you're going to run out of it before you need it because you're throwing it randomly. But overall, it was a pleasure to watch, definitely.